Hi guys. Hi guys, happy Saturday. Hi Molly. Hi Penny Finder. Hi guys. Okay, I think we're good on sound. We should be. Let me just double check this. That looks good. I should have had my phone on. Hold on. Hi, Doug Wagner. Molly, can you hear me? Are we good? Let's see. Sound is good. Okay, awesome. Yay for that. Like when the technical stuff works for me. Happy Saturday, guys. All right, we are jumping right into it because today we are talking about just the simple, easy, quick way to do time management. Anybody can do this. In my opinion, everybody should do this because if you are looking for a way to maximize the time that you do have to do lots of things. If you're like me, you like to have a long list of things to do. This is my list for today. Like, I just like having lots of things to do. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel productive. Like, I like that. So this way, I think everybody should absolutely embrace. And it is, and I'm going to explain. So stay with me, okay? Stay with me. Blocking out your time, and I'm going to show you the simplest, easiest way to do that, and then working from a list. Those two things, hand in hand, can absolutely change everything you think when you think about time management. And if it's something that like stresses you out and you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much, I can't think this far in advance, I want to kind of reframe that so that when you do think about your just managing your time in general, that you're going to be able to get behind this easy concept of how to block out time. And I'm going to explain exactly what that means, and then how to work from a list, and then deciding, I'm going to explain how to prioritize that list. So the first thing, and this is what you have to grasp when you're starting to become a planner. Now, if you are a seasoned planner, I'm sure at some point this has happened to you. But if you're a brand new planner, or you're brand new to using planners and really trying to figure out how to manage your time, then just know that the main thing you have to understand is that when you are calm and you've taken time, you've made that time to sit down and actually write out the things that you're going to do, it's like you have fresh focus. You can come up with a much better game plan, a much better schedule when you're not in the thick of it. So when you take just 30 minutes on a weekend to really take a look at what you have coming up in the week ahead, the things that you want to get done each day, when you sit down and you come up with that game plan and it's an overview, you're going to have a much better attitude when it comes to placing things where they need to go, different tasks, different places that you need to be. I've talked so much before about when you're able to get that bird's eye view, that at a glance of your entire week, you can also see what conflicts you have and you can get in front of those. So when you look at the big picture and you're able to really plan out the ideal schedule, and that is what it is. It's ideal. Like in a perfect world, this is what is going to happen. You're going to be able to see holes. You're going to be able to see where you might need a little bit of extra time. And that is what planning is all about. Now, you can absolutely come up with the best plan ever Take time to create the perfect plan, the perfect schedule. But if you do not look at your planner throughout the week, throughout your days, I must look at my planner 15 times a day. I look at it all the time. But that's a habit. That's a skill that you need to develop so that you can become disciplined with how you're using your time. Am I perfect? No. Does life happen? Absolutely. Do things change? Of course they do. And when you become somebody who takes time at the beginning of the week to plan out the remaining part of your week or the rest of the week, because you can start planning at any time. If it's a Tuesday, plan for the rest of the week. That's okay too, right? You got to just step back, take that overview look and focus on what you need to get done. But if you are not disciplined enough, even just to look at your planner, then you're just wasting time. You're wasting time planning it. Like, I have to be honest about that. You have to become the person who is disciplined enough to follow through with the game plan that you've set for yourself. And I think that is the hardest concept when it comes to time management. I've heard so many people say, oh, I've planned and it doesn't work. It never works for me. Well, it's because you are not disciplined enough to stick to the game plan. Because when you create your weekly spread, when you look at what's coming up in those days coming up, and you have that wherewithal and you're not stressed about it and you're not in the middle of the day going, oh my gosh, what do I need to do next? That's where the planning part comes into play. That's where being organized comes into play. And it is so important, especially if you are somebody who has a billion things that you need or want to get done throughout the day. You have to start taking control of your time. Hi, Gina. Hi, Rob. I see ya. Okay. So I'm going to dive right in this week on the time management part of it, the planning part of it, because I want to share with you the easiest way to do this. And I have also talked before about life buckets, right? Different aspects of your life that can take up big chunks of your time. So it could be, and what most people have, and yours will look different, and you can do it however you want. But generally speaking, it's your personal life, it is your business life, and it is maybe something else. Usually there's a third thing in there that you should make time for. In my opinion, it should be white space where nothing gets planned, personal stuff, errands, laundry, grocery shopping, things like that. And then business, work stuff, work-related business stuff. So technically, those are my 3 buckets. I always want to make sure that I have white space, I have personal time, and I have business space. So those are my general 3 buckets. Now, what I want to do is I want to know on what days do I have X amount of time. So for example, let's say, so I just have this sticky note here. It's a blank sticky note. And I'm just going to say that my focus is white space. I'm an empty nester right now, right? We don't have kids that live here, but maybe your white space is family time. Like maybe that's something that you need to incorporate into your life. And then I have personal time, and then I have my business. Always remember too that balance does not mean 5 hours of white space, 5 hours of personal time, 5 hours of business. That isn't what balance should mean. Because, well, first of all, I don't know that your family wants to spend 5 hours a day with you. Maybe they do. Awesome if they do. Maybe you don't want to spend that much time with your family either. Like, those are things to just kind of consider, that personal time it can be whatever you want it to be, but it doesn't, when you think of balance, it should be the balance of how do you feel, the flow of it. Because it could also very well be that you're spending 8 hours working on business stuff, but you spend an hour playing on the floor with your kids or your grandkids, or you're tucking your kids into bed at night. And that time, it's all about the quality. It's not about the quantity of time. How much can you fill your cup so that you can then look at that bigger picture? So filling that space within your personal life, maybe you can do things that only take a couple of hours, because chances are you're not going to be able to, especially if you are working or you're in hustle mode. Your white space is not going to be equivalent to the amount of time that you're spending working on your business, or your business would never grow. So balance is BS in the sense of quantity, but you have to think of balance as quality. What is the quality of time that you can spend on whatever your subject is, whatever your life bucket is? For me, I always think of having white space. I try to keep that on a Sunday. Personal time, that's my morning happy hour, getting a workout in, might be running errands, meal prepping, things like that, which meal prepping is something that in this next week I am going to focus a lot more on. And then business. And for me right now, business is all encompassing. It is, for me, my main priority. I obviously try to get more personal and white space, because you can then become resentful if you don't get those cup filling moments within your day or within your week, however it is. But those are things to just consider when you're thinking about planning out your week. So tip number 1, hi Elle, hi Resin. Tip number 1 very much has to be write down what your buckets are. And those become your blocks of time. So for me, like I said, white space, personal stuff, business. Those are my buckets. You have to decide and figure out what your buckets are, so that is what is going to make your planning out your week so much easier. So what I did was I came in, and you can break that down even further if you want to. You can break down. So for me, the way that I use business is I break that down into several different areas. So it is, and I have this list right here, which basically just says I want to make sure I make time for white space. And then my 2 ways to look at my blocks of time is my business building and my business maintaining. Those are 2 very, very different buckets that kind of fall. They're like sub buckets, but within the main bucket. So building my business is working on the creative part, coming up with new product ideas, creating those new designs, those new things, working on different areas to grow the business. Time spent building the business is definitely going to be different than the maintenance. The maintenance is making time for responding to emails, responding to customers, packing orders, ordering more supplies. Like that stuff is the business maintenance side. But I need to make time for both. Does that make sense? You make time for the 2 different areas. And maybe you are not in the creative time, the design time, that building time. Maybe that's not where you're at, and now you can just live in that world of maintenance, which is amazing and what I'm striving for, right? because that's one less kind of bucket that I need to fill and need to spend time on. Because once you have that base foundation, now all you're doing is just maintaining what you've already built. So those are two different aspects, and I want to make sure that I make time to do both of those things. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur, and obviously I have my YouTube channel. I have the vlogging side of everything. But then I also have my small business that I'm trying to build and grow. And they're two very different things, kind of tied into each other. But as an entrepreneur and as a small business owner, I have to make time separately for those two things. And I found for me that when I try to meld the two together. Is meld the right word? I don't know if meld's the right word. But anyways, when I tried to bring those two together and be really specific, it got very complicated for me. So what I'm thinking is I definitely need to create the buckets, keep the buckets, and just when I plan my week out, what I'm going to try to do now is just create those bigger buckets. Now, the other thing is the beauty of where I'm at in my business and what I'm doing with my business, the beauty is that I now can finally simplify my weekly game plan and just truly create those buckets. So I wanted today's topic to be that there's such a simple way to do this, but to also stay really focused on what you want to accomplish and what you want to do. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Tigret. Okay, so knowing that these are my white space or my buckets here, the spaces within how I want to plan out my time, what I like to do is obviously I go through, I always do my morning happy hour. It is my happy place. It brings me joy. It fills my cup so that I feel more empowered, more inspired, more motivated to get through my day. It reminds me of what I'm working for, what I'm working towards. And my morning happy hour is very simple. It is reading some personal development. It is reading my vision statement. And it is going through my planner and looking at what I have coming up in that day and then writing my to-do list. Now, the to-do list part of everything is clutch. The key is your weekly game plan. Your to-do list is clutch. It is everything. It is what you need to focus on 500 million times a day if you want to be productive, right? So here are the things. So I'm going to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how, because usually I start my day around 7 o'clock. Always want to get in a happy hour. Again, very simple. If you want to add in meditation, you can. For me, it's reading a few pages of personal development, reading my vision statement, and then going through my planner, going through what I have coming up for the day, and then looking at my goals list, and then coming up with what I'm going to do for the day, writing out my to-do list. So those are the things that I do during my happy hour. You can do whatever you want within yours. So if you want to add in meditation, maybe what fills your cup is getting in some morning stretching. Maybe it's getting in a hard, sweaty workout. Like, those are things that you have to figure out what fills your cup and inspires you to be the best that you can be throughout your day, right? I have to drink water. Hold on. have my shake right here, and it's all chocolatey, and it's like getting stuck in my throat. Hold on. Hi, Michael Smith. Okay. All right. Happy hour is a bucket for me. First bucket of the day. The second bucket of the day is getting in my workout. And you know what? I'm gonna, right here, is getting in. So hopefully you guys can, let me move this. By the way, I finally, if you've watched any of my vlogs, I have been eyeing this candle and it smells so good. So good. But I've been eyeing that candle for the longest time. It's from Anthropology. It was a nice splurge for myself, but smells amazing and it's so pretty. So that's what that is. But let me get that out of the way completely. And hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So happy hour workout, that would be a walk and then a 30-minute workout. So for this upcoming week, my goal is to get up by 7, start working out by 8 o'clock my time. I'm not going to go through all of that, but just know that usually if you've been around, you've seen me rewrite this 100,000 times. So happy hour workout. We're just going to stick with Monday for now. Then what I'm doing is this is where I get ready. This is where I get dressed, shower, hair, makeup, all the things. And then at 10 o'clock, that is my post office run and wave 1. I know what wave 1 means to me. It is my first wave of packing orders, going into my messages, comments, emails, kind of like the paperwork business side. My goal within that wave 1 now is to post for the day, whether it's a grid post, a community post, a reel, but I'm going to get something out within that first wave. I have 2 waves, so I do that twice each day. But my first wave is going to be between 10 and 11 because sometimes it takes me 2 hours to do my wave, especially that first one, because if there are comments or messages, emails, things that I need to respond to, especially that first one of the day, usually takes a little bit longer. What I then like to do is plan for my second wave later in the afternoon. So I'm going to go wave 2 and I'm going to do all of what I just did in wave 1. I'm going to do it again later in the afternoon. So you can see that already I know that this time is accounted for, this space is accounted for. Now, I always work towards Sunday because for me, Sundays are my white space days, and I try really, really hard to not work, not even get on my laptop. But if I do, it has to be something that I really, really want to do. Like I can't relax unless I do whatever I choose to do, right? So, and by the way, let me just, as a side note, I also just want to say that sometimes work is self-care. Sometimes planning out your week, that is self-care. Because if you can't focus or concentrate or you're stressed or upset because of something that needs to get done, sometimes doing whatever that is self-care so that you can then set it down and then go back to your actual true self-care. But working sometimes is self-care. I just want you to know that that is the way I look at it anyways. Like when we go on vacation, Rob and I very rarely unplug 100% because that doesn't relax either of us. Both of us when you unplug 100%, we have that stress of, well, wait, what's going on? Is this okay? Is that okay? Like, that is stressful to us. So to relax on vacation, we plug in just a little bit. And that's 100% okay. I like that idea. Wave 1, wave 2. Yes. Emails, all the things, shipping, like have a specific time for that. If part of your job also is to engage in social media, to watch social media, to scroll through things, when you allot X amount of time on X amount of days throughout your week, you become intentional and you don't mindlessly scroll. So if that's part of your job, to actually go in with social media, because we all know how that rabbit hole can be. Good Lord, that TikTok situation, like it can suck you in sometimes, right? YouTube shorts, like it sucks you in. You have to be intentional with your time if that's part of your job too. So make that a part of your wave. Engage in social media. Remember, social media is social. And I've also talked many a times about cultivating your news feed, the grid you see. All of that is based on your search results and who you follow. So be mindful of who you're letting into your space. Let's see. Resin says, I had a nice white space day yesterday. Took a PTO day and did absolutely nothing. Was so relaxing. Yes. Rob, working on this penny box self-care. Yeah, it can be. Yeah. And listen, and don't get me wrong, because I'm sure Rob's up there like, wait a second. You totally have taken a Sunday and laid in bed and did absolutely nothing. 100%. Read all day long. Like, those days are beautiful and gorgeous and much needed. But I don't need that 3 times a week, you know? Because then it wouldn't be self-care. It would just be stressing myself out, because my personality is that things aren't getting done. Cleaning your house can be self-care. For me it is, because I know that when I start to feel that pressure and that stress of stuff, it's a lot of times when my environment is not as organized or clean as it should be. Okay, so again, we're looking for white space personal business. And then for me specifically, I'm looking in white space. Now, I think, when do I want to build my business? And again, building is not the same as maintaining. My wave 1, wave 2, that's maintenance. That is maintenance for me. So what I'm really looking for are, when am I going to build my business? So I'm going from 12 to, we'll put this here. I'm going to go live happy label. That's going to be my time to do whatever I'm deciding to do. But I'm giving myself 3 hours right here for business building. At 3 o'clock, I'm going to leave that space open for life, for whatever might come up, for a little bit of wiggle room in case I don't do all the things that need to get done. Then after this, then I'll have a couple of hours of editing. So this will be, we'll just go YouTube. What I've also realized is it does just take me a long time to edit videos, especially shopping videos. Because if I have 150 short little clips, you still have to edit every single one of those clips. And then you have to add the music, rewatch it, like things just take time. And even though I allot myself usually 4 hours to edit a video, if I'm to be honest with myself, and create a video edit that I enjoy watching, it's going to take me 6 to 8 hours to edit that. Just that I have to be honest with myself about that. And I was always saying, I can do it in 4. I can do it in 4. I don't want to do it in 4. I want to do it in 6 to 8 hours, which means that I am going to have to allot time to edit a couple days a week or 3 days a week. So for now, we've got the one video that comes out on Wednesdays. I'm trying to get it to where I'm backing up and it's early on Wednesdays and not right before Rob's live stream. And then that's another thing. I'll add in here RFT Live. So I know that this block is done. This block is done. This is my YouTube edit. And then I try not to schedule anything after 8 o'clock. But my Live Happy label, that is my business bucket. And here, let's play with colors today. So let's go. My Me Time Get Ready is right here. My Business Maintenance Time, my Wave 1, Wave 2, Live Happy label. Let's just make her purple. That. And then my YouTube will be blue. Let's just color it in for funsies. And I'm hoping that maybe I won't need this extra hour right there. It's there if I need it, but hopefully I won't. And that is how I'm blocking out my time. Now, throughout the rest of the week, we'll do, this is Rob's RFT stuff. Like that. I'm going to try to keep these days open. These days open. Saturday has to become a day to kind of filter whatever I didn't do throughout the week, if certain things didn't get done. We'll talk about that here in just a minute too. So I know that for the rest of this week, I want all of this to be the same, right? We've got this wave here. That wave there. I'm hoping that by color coordinating or color coding, you can come in and kind of see what buckets look like, that you could actually see time blocks. Like that. Now, I'm going to do more YouTube editing here. Now, I have to film, right? I have to film videos, and I usually do that on Thursdays. So Thursdays is filming that video. And so do YouTube here. YouTube here. That's going to be like the edits, things like that. So I'm showing myself how much time I actually have to edit. And I see how much time I have to build my business, to do things. So all of that's right here. So when I really look at this and I look at this free time, so this right here is filming And these days, these chunks of time are editing. So you can kind of see I'm kind of running out of space, right? I'm kind of running out of time to do things. Now, because I'm a vlogger and I vlog a day in my life or whatever, a lot of this filming stuff is going to become editing stuff towards the end of that night. So that gives me those extra couple of hours that I need. Because like I said, I want to edit a video and it's going to take me 6 to 8 hours to do it. I can start that this night after I'm done with that day. But I film all the things that are going on throughout this day. But if you look at this, and if you are a business builder, if you are an entrepreneur, I don't have a lot of time. So especially last week, like this week was a struggle in the sense of I felt like I had wasted a bunch of time because I had created something that then the manufacturer wasn't able, in the sizing that I had created it, wasn't able to work with, couldn't use. I had to reconfigure everything. So that 4-hour chunk of time that I had spent creating something that in the end I needed to redo completely was very frustrating to me. Because I know this is how much time I have to do things. Now, if you are someone who has a 9 to 5, your day is going to look a little bit different. So if there are things that you want to do, but you work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, hold please. So let's go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just go through these pages because I know the girl who does this and who can probably get me another notepad. So, okay, let's say you work 9 to 5, every day, 9 to 5. We're going to call your work day, let's just stick with purple because purple technically is work. So your hours are 9 to 5. The way I do it is I block time in and out in whole full hours. You might want to do it in 30-minute increments. So anyways, you know that this is going to be for work. All of this is going to be for work. I've gone a little bit past because usually you need to drive to work, get to work. So you might have to, let's just say it takes you 30 minutes to get to work. I am a believer in arriving places at least 15, 20 minutes early. So this is your actual work time when you go into your office and this is what you need to do. I'm assuming you're going to get a lunch. So this would be a lunch hour that maybe you could work on other things. Yes, traffic too. Absolutely. So you might work 9 to 5, but technically you're not available from 8 to 6. So you block out all of that time because that time no longer is available for whatever because you're doing something. Now, let's say you say, okay, but I want to start doing a morning happy hour. I want to start working out in the morning. So you're going to have to backtrack a little bit and you're going to have to know, well, I need to get dressed, right? It's reverse engineering. I need to get dressed a little bit, maybe take a shower, do a happy hour. So maybe you got to get up at 6 and between 6 and 7, that's when you have to do a quick happy hour, a quick workout, and then get ready to leave and get to work. So you might have to consider, that's not going to work for me. I need extra. So you might need to decide or figure out how to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning if you want to be able to get in a full happy hour. Now, let me tell you, you don't need a full hour for your happy hour. You can do 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of reading, 4 minutes to read your vision statement. Shouldn't take you that long to read it. You know what I mean? Like, you can chop it up and speed up those things. Maybe you don't get in a full 60-minute walk and workout. Maybe you just do the workout and you walk after work. Or maybe you just do 30 minutes of exercise and body movement a day and you're good. So that's your choice. That's your decision. But you know that you have to work and make money. So this blocks of time, those are in there no matter what. Now, if you're also somebody who wants to have this life so far, you've got all these things blocked off, but now you have a side hustle that you want to really grow or maybe even just nurture what you have, right? Maintenance. So maybe you have then an hour of maintenance, and then maybe then you have an hour of building. So when you look at your blocks of time like this, when you really break down those buckets and you put them in a timeline like this, you're going to see the white space. Where do you have white space? Where can you keep things open? Are you like me? Do you want to just kind of really hustle throughout the week? Slow down for me a little bit on Thursday because it's a filming vlog day. Those are usually the days that I kind of fill my cup and I bring you along with me. And then work for the weekends. Or are you somebody who works 9 to 5 and you might be in that phase where this is what your week looks like? You're here. This is what your week looks like. You are not going to have as much time as you might think to do other things. And then you're building your side hustle and you're maintaining your side hustle. And then don't forget you need to eat, go to the grocery store, and maybe that's what you end up doing on the weekend. So you've got a couple of hours here where you're, working on that business. And this is where you go in and you're really putting all your time on the weekends. And then maybe you now only have one day. So the reason I'm showing this to you is because, number one, buckets are important. And understanding what your life buckets are is the key to figuring out how much time you have to either add things in or take things away. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to look at your life in these kinds of buckets? In these time blocks where you're actually blocking out your time in a block so you can see what your day looks like. Now, this even works if you know that you still, you could still have it this way. And then you can also have at 3 o'clock, you need to pick up kid. Or kids, you've got carpool that day. At this time you need to drop off kid. I like kid. Why does that sound so impersonal? So this is you can still have these buckets, but you need to know that within that bucket, you're going to have to do a really quick drop off. Yeah? So write those in, put your buckets of time in, and then write in the things that you have to do. And then you're going to be able to realize, can I handle that? Can I do that? Am I physically capable of doing all these things I want to do? Have I given myself a little bit of wiggle room? So when you block out your time, you can actually see what time you do or don't have. Last week, we talked about your master to-do list. For me, I write my master to-do list within the calendar. That is how I use my blank page here. I use it as my master to-do list. This is everything that I want to get done. I even have spaghetti sauce on it. That makes me crazy, but it's life. It's what happens. So, master to-do list. We talked about that last week. Now, each morning when I look to see, okay, this is what I have, I need to figure out what I am doing between 12 and 2. Usually, my to-do list, this list right here, is going to be what am I doing from this time to this time right here. Because that is when I go in and I'm using my creative brain. And I know I'm going to have time to do things. I have to prioritize and figure out what I'm going to do because I don't have time to waste. Like, I don't have time to sit here and go, what do we want to do today? I want to be in front of that. And I want to know when I sit down at my desk at 12 o'clock and I have until 2 or 3, what am I doing with that time? I make a list and I prioritize it out. The way that I know what I'm going to do is because I have a master to-do list. And I know what needs to get done. So I need to figure out, well, what do I need to do next? And then I've read my goals for that week. So I know what are my goals for this week? What are my goals for the rest of this month? So what is my focus going to be on? Block out your time and work from a list. Block out your time and work from a list. It is the best way to plan out your days if you want to get stuff done and be productive. And this works for everybody and anybody. If you are an entrepreneur, if you work in the corporate world, if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you are newly retired, this system can help everybody. Because everybody has 24 hours in a day. Most everybody wants to feel productive because that is what empowers you. That is what inspires you. That is what keeps you going. And that is what makes you happy. Those are the things that make you feel full is by being productive. I believe that. And I don't know, there will be people out there who will say, you don't have to be productive all the time every day. No, you absolutely don't. I believe in white space. But I believe in making it so I can enjoy that white space to the fullest. Because it is important. It is important to have downtime. But if you're wanting to live the life that you've envisioned for yourself, that dream life, that vision life, then you have to work for it. You have to work for it. I wrote something down because I heard it in, where did I write it? Okay. So I was I'm going through a couple of business classes. And one of the things that someone said was fight for your future. You are fighting for your future. So when you're looking at this and you're like, holy crap, like I really don't have a lot of extra time to do anything. You know, I'm in hustle mode right now. And hustling, by the way, is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word. I love hustling. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel empowered. Makes me feel like I'm helping and I'm contributing. That is what hustle means to me. But I'm also at the same time fighting for my future because I know what I want my future to look like. I know what I want life to look like for me in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. Like, I've thought about those things. That's what your vision statement is all about. But those are things, and I just loved when she said, we're fighting for our future. That makes so much sense, because we are. It is a fight. It is a grind. It's a journey that is not for the faint of heart. And I think I resonate a lot with people who do want more for their lives and who are willing to fight for it, but who also need a game plan to get there. And how your schedule looks, what your time blocks look like, it's going to change all the time, especially if you are growing. If you're growing as a person, you're going to want a little bit more, and it's okay to be happy, but also want more for your life, for yourself. I give you permission to be happy and satisfied where you're at, but also to want to fight for more, because you deserve whatever it is you want. If you are absolutely happy with every single aspect of your life right now, amazing. I still think you need to plan your week out. I still think you need to work from a to-do list if you want to be productive, right? Okay, white space also produces joy because it recharges us. Yes, you have to have that recharge time. I do. And as somebody who is creative and who wants to be creative, I have to not be creative to get there. And there are times when you need to step back and be like, let's just let this sit over here. And I need to do absolutely nothing today, but sit down and eat popcorn and watch a Hallmark movie and think about fall decor. Like, sometimes we need that to be able to come back to this and be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight again. Yeah? So I hope that this has resonated. I hope this makes sense, whatever your buckets are going to be. I feel like there are so many different ways to explain this, and within the socials, I for sure will continue to try to make this make sense for everybody, simplify it as much as I can, but I feel like you can't get much simpler than this. And when you sit down and you figure out what your buckets are and you block out your time like this, it's all going to make more sense. It's like it's steps, right? Do this and then do this. Because when you do this, this will happen. So figure out what your buckets are, block out your time. When do you have time for the specific buckets? And then figure out what are you going to do within those buckets of time. And that can be something that you do on a daily basis. I do my to-do list sometimes the night before. Like what I don't have an example because I just did this today. But what I'll do is throughout my day, there is a section here that says tomorrow. What I've been doing too is like I'll write this note for me today. I'll write the note. In fact, I'll write it right now. Tomorrow is white space. So I'll write as a reminder, tomorrow is white space right here. And then sometimes what I'll do is if I know that something needs to be moved or there's something I need to do tomorrow, I'll just write it on the next sheet. I'll just flip it up like this and just write it on tomorrow's to-do sheet so it's already there. So that's another thing to consider when you're doing that is, going through and really planning out and moving your tasks over. So I hope that all makes sense. Now, listen, so for the time being, until further notice, and we will figure out how to fit this back in, where to fit it back in. This is the last live stream for a bit. And mainly because we've got some things coming up over these next several weekends, and it just makes more sense to kind of cancel, and then we'll bring back. But here's the thing, we'll come back at some point. I will definitely let you know in the community tabs, in my social medias. If you're not following me over in Instagram, either at Charlani every day, or the business account, where I will definitely add in, especially because these are more time management focused. They'll be on the business account, which is live_happy_label_planners. And those are things that I will absolutely be updating over there. But a lot of these videos, these talks, things like that, will also be there in the social medias. So until further notice, these live streams will be canceled for now. Just put on hold, put on the back burner, because I will tell you there are some really cool things coming up, and I'm gonna need this Saturday chunk because when you go through, you're like, okay, I don't have time to do that. Like, there's no way. What are we going to be able to, what do we need to sacrifice to make this thing happen? And again, it's why blocking out your time makes sense, so that you can see where those chunks are. So I hope that that all makes sense. Got to go and help tech on the shop. You'll have rest. Oh, have a good weekend too, Kristen. Okay, I hope you guys have I hope this has helped, first and foremost. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate you all so very much. And I will absolutely see you again soon. We will have the weekly vlog videos will still be up. And I am over on my Instagram, Charlani Everyday, or the Live Happy Label Planners page, all day, every day, most of the time. So I'm around, and I will see you guys soon. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a really great rest of your day. Thank you, mods, for being here too. Gina, Resin, Rob, thank you. Hi, William. I see you in here. Just got home the whole day. Straight. Ooh, 28 hours. Yikes. Yeah, that's more than a day. Yeah, that's more than a day. Well, yeah, get some rest for sure. All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.